Hello guys, welcome back. It's Illogical as always, and today we're going to be doing a tier list for the heavy thrusting swords. Each of these weapons have been taken on a 40-40 quality build, as well as there'll be a little bit of my own personal bias mixed in between, so this is my own personal feeling on the tier list, so it is, and where each of these weapons do rank. So the first weapon that we're going to take a look at is the Gritfa. The damage on this weapon one-handed comes up to 532, and two-handed it comes to 582. Comes with BB scaling in both strength and dexterity on a quality setting, and it also comes with a swap weapon art. Choose your own weapon art. Personal preference would be glintstone pebble for its use of mix-ups. So it is. The one caveat with this weapon is it does come with a scaling in strength, or a scaling in dexterity, depending if you are running a heavy or a keen setup. These two things could potentially make this weapon outperform a quality build. Keeping that in mind though, this is everything so far has been tested on a quality build. So whenever other builds are up and functional, I will be able to do further testing with this weapon. I'm going to put the Gritfa in A tier as it is a strong baseline for the next three weapons on the tier list. The next weapon on our list is going to be the Godskin Stitcher, so it is. So this weapon comes with a damage of 541 one-handed and 592 two-handed, with a BB scaling in quality for both your strength and dexterity, and it also comes with a swap weapon art. Knowing my routine, we already know that I'm going to be going for the glintstone pebble due to its ability to mix up, as well as its overwhelming amount of damage sometimes as well. In long story short, it does have unique R2s, but as says, R2s in PvP are very limited in what you can do with them. On the other hand, it does completely and utterly outclass the Gritfa on a quality build. As says, these things may change later on once more testing is done. With that being said, considering it outclasses the Gritfa, it must go into S tier, so it does. And this weapon would be your best choice for most builds, as it is very versatile in what it can do. Next up, we have one of it was a love-hate relationship while I recorded this one. The Dragonscraig Blade. One-handed, it comes with a 645 damage. Two-handed of 664. But keep in mind that this damage is split between physical and lightning. It comes with a D scaling in strength and a B scaling in dexterity. This works two ways, as this weapon would be far superior on a pure dexterity build, with the help of lightning now scaling with dexterity. It comes with a unique weapon art, which is absolutely one of the personal favorite weapon arts in the game. It does hit incredibly hard. It can be hard to land, but whenever you learn how to land it and what scenarios you can land it in, you can hit them for massive damage. As I did say, we did have a love-hate relationship, because whenever I first started using this weapon, I was very uncomfortable with the weapon art at the very start, but once I learned how to use it and how to perform with it, it did become a lot stronger. As in saying that there, with it having the B scaling in dexterity on a pure dexterity build, it would probably be far superior to what I'm currently running it with now. So the Dragonscraig Blade is going to be going into A tier. Other than that there, I have bumped the Gritfa down to B tier, as it is the baseline for all of these future weapons. The thing is though, is the fact that whenever I was making this tier list, I did feel like the Craig Blade outperformed the Gritfa, but because the Craig Blade has a higher skill requirement, especially for that weapon art, I figured it would go into A tier, especially with the higher damage. The Gritfa is still your baseline weapon, and nothing much else has changed from there. And the final weapon that we have is the Bloody Chalice. So it is, this weapon comes with 510 damage one-handed and 520 damage two-handed, coming in at actually the weakest of the heavy thrusting swords. Its scaling is an E in strength, a C in dexterity, and a B in arcane. It does come with a unique weapon art, so it does, which allows you to be more evasive, but it also allows you to have a follow-up thrust, allowing for very strong mix-ups. On top of all of that there, it also comes with 58 bleed with the base arcane stats required to use the weapon. This weapon would definitely be far better suited on a pure arcane build or a arcane dexterity hybrid build to boost the damage and the bleed. Now, the one thing that I will bring up is similar to the Ant Spur, which is a small thing that I did overlook, is the fact that even with that gradual bleed build up, you do have the mental effect of it. The mental effect of having that bleed bar on your screen, which means that you're going to play slightly more evasive, or if be, try to out offense your opponent. But as it sits, the Bloody Hellas is possibly one of the better arcane weapons that I have used thus far. So with everything that I've said, it is going into a tier. And there we have it. There's our final tier list. The reason why the Godskin Stitcher is at the highest is because it comes with one of the highest non-split physical damage. So it does, and as well as its free use of a random weapon art means that you can always keep your opponent on his feet. Obviously, you've got the other two weapons. One requires a lot of skill to use, and the other one requires not a lot of skill to use. AKA the Dragonscraig Blade is going to require a lot of skill to be able to land that weapon art reliably, as well as the Bloody Hellas being quite spammable and unfair to use sometimes. As then, of course, you have the B tier for the Great Epee, as it is outclassed by the other weapons that are in front of it. But in saying that, there on a different build, the Great Epee could probably very well. This could, if I had a build for each of them specifically, these tier list could look a hell of a lot different. Once the other builds are up and running, we will probably go back and take a look at these weapons again and see how well they actually do perform on a slightly more general styled build, aka strength or dexterity. As for the Bloody Hellas, we're going to need to make a decent arcane build, but then that is not the only weapon we need to use or make an arcane build for. So that's going to be fun. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. And guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.